If it's true that life is in the journey, not the destination, driving 13 days on Route 66 was truly a journey. The Mother Road delivered an excursion of a former American way of life, in many ways. To take the road less traveled, as Robert Frost wrote. The Burl King of the Yukon wrote, when you come to the fork in the road, take it. We took the one growing grass in the cracks. We wanted to experience life off the fast lane, the hectic, habitual schedule we all create for ourselves. I'm not sure renting an RV and driving 2,500 miles would do it, but it might give us a space to pause and catch our breath along the way.
In Oakland, and they did in Francisco, but I wouldn't choke, hell no, I broke that rope. They had to let me go, son, I'm bad news. Everywhere I go.
I've traveled a lot, been in every state but one. We went to towns I've never heard of, like Elwood, Dwight, Normal, Bourbon, Cuba, Devil's Elbow, Two Guns, Hackberry, Valentine, and Oatman. Old-time gas stations will highlight photos and showed up in interesting places. Ethel and her husband, Regular, stood proudly at every preserved and not-so-preserved gas stations. We stayed in the top 5 oldest hotels on the route for the experience, not for the location. Cleansed by threadbare white motel towels that felt more like sandpaper than fabric. Motels where you park at your door. Seedy and surrounded by everything old. Tired factories, rusted vehicles, train tracks, hobos, and girls with the night backlit by neon. Apparently, muffler repair is expensive everywhere. It's all a part of the Route 66 experience, the good, the bad, and the not so pretty, where things that were the standard of the day are still the standard of the day. It's in the rural areas those nights fade into lush landscapes, farms, ranches, rivers, soil, streams, and stockyards where the scent holds on for 20 miles. Horses, pigs, chickens, and roadkill, armadillos mostly. Sections where the road was so straight we chased mirages for miles. Stretches of pavement growing thin lines of grass showing a road ignored. We could drive for miles without seeing another vehicle, where we could stop in the middle of the lane, get out of the RV to snap a picture safely. When we came to areas where the route was closed and had to get on the interstate, life became hectic again, dodging semi-trucks, ramping up blood pressure and RPMs to keep up. A few exits away, we'd be allowed to return to the pace of 66. The tiny towns were spotless, no graffiti, clean, and a stillness that stays with you. The vastness, the farness. Field after field, corn, crops, infinite telephone poles, windmills, white lines, yellow. Drunk bumps blurting loudly under nearly off-road tires. Towns so small you could throw a rock over them. People were nice again, friendly, proud, talkative, sharing their history. Excited to see a stranger and to sign their guest book or push a pin into a crowded map on the wall to show where we came from. What is nostalgia? I think nostalgia is, as we get older, we want things to be the way they were when we were younger. It's defiance against progress. It's when waitresses called you hun. Now they expect a tip before they wait on you. On Route 66, they still call you hun. We could have driven from LA to Chicago on the interstate in 29 hours. Instead, we took 104 hours, 13 days crisscrossing the interstate to meet people where they lived. The forgotten towns of America, at times abandoned, others thriving and just fine without the hustle the interstate brings. Living in the slow lane daily, sometimes open, sometimes closed. It wasn't about the hours. Things we found least expected, surprised. Things we thought would be there but weren't. Hamburgers and shakes are the order of the day until you get to Illinois. Then is hot dogs. For hours, we would drive next to the interstate that some would call a frontage road, watching semis and cars pass us until we'd wonder where they went, because we were alone again. God knows where, no interstate in sight. The scream of cicadas was so loud sometimes that it drowned out the highway noise. A wonderful surprise for me was that I didn't see one Trump or Biden sign, or flag at all, not one, in 2,526 miles. Only small town sheriffs trying to get reelected. It was so refreshing.
I hear the black waves crashing hard onto the crimson side.
Early travel wasn't as easy as it is now. Gas stations were closer together for heavy, horrible mileage vehicles. Roadside attractions were created to lure tired tourists and impatient children. Route 66 has many. Giant muffler men are one of them. Built as an advertisement for car repair, are now recreated holding hot dogs or advertising for other things. There's a rattlesnake museum in Albuquerque with an albino snake, a circus sideshow exhibit at the Uranus Fudge Factory in St. Roberts, Missouri, with a real two-headed turtle. Novelty architecture like a blue whale in Catoosa, Oklahoma. Everyday objects of enormous size like the world's biggest belt buckle, rocking chair, Coke bottle, covered wagon, steer, biggest Route 66 sign, largest flip-flop flopped, and even a leaning water tower. Fort Courage, where the show F Troop got its design. There's the famous Cadillac Ranch, where spray paint in every color has been applied. We chose red.
Everywhere I look, I see some green grass.
History was also dotted along the entire way. We stopped at the Will Rogers Museum, which was amazing, by the way. Mickey Mantle's boyhood home, where his father threw him pitches using the metal garage as a backstop. We saw Lincoln's home in a national park in the middle of downtown Springfield, Illinois. We also visited his final resting place, which was quite impressive. Moving. We visited the first Bass Pro Shop in Springfield, Missouri, which was gigantic. They have an indoor shooting range, NRA gun museum, no photos allowed, a huge indoor aquarium that takes hours to see, and sell anything and everything one could want for the outdoors, or in. Museums of all types, cars, motorcycles, mining. There's even a barbed wire museum in McLean, Texas. Who knew there were so many different kinds of devil's rope? There's plenty of museums dedicated to Route 66, caves to explore, take a seat, or just stand on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. I'm not sure what it is that draws my eye to rust and vintage signs. Is it romance or the idea of documenting something that might be gone in 100 years? I think it's more like capturing its stories as if that old door or sign could talk about its life. Time has had its way with them. Its patina has taken years to appear, and tomorrow yet again. Just as I grow older and someday fade away, perhaps a single photo meant I was there. Nature has a way of taking everything back, and rust is a cancer. It's a monument. It's an advertisement. Perhaps both.
Some people take the side streets. They go as far as there. They get close to the city limit sign, then they turn back on the open road. So much to see.
Is it simply a brute record of what was once there? Whatever it is, I'm drawn to it.
Gotta keep her moving. Gotta keep her rolling. I gotta keep her riding down the midnight highway. Yeah. Gotta keep her moving. Gotta keep her rolling. Gotta keep her riding all night, all night. Riding on the midnight highway. Yeah.
Clean and green. I'm glad I traveled this part of America. It makes me feel like everything's going to be okay. And in these times, I sure hope so. And now, we return to the hectic again, but with a little stillness dropped in the tank of memories.